In the ninth lesson, plants, parts, and functions, second activity about absorption of water. For this activity, you have to take one glass and a light color plant. Better is to use a plant with small roots in it. A whole small plant is much more better. In case if that is not available, just the stem part with some leaves, but the plant should be light in color. And still we can perform this activity by using the white color flowers like white rose or white calendula or chrysanthemum flowers. So it is a simple activity to show that absorption of water takes place with the help of roots and it will be carried through the stem to the leaves. Moreover, it also shows that in water, whatever is dissolved, that also will be carried to different parts of a plant. As we know very well that water is very essential for plant to survive. Basically, the roots will penetrate into the soil not only for support but even to absorb the water which is present in middle of the tiny soil particles. The water which is deposited in the mud particles will be absorbed through the tiny very minute root hairs, and these root hairs will carry the water in which dissolved minerals nutrients are present. These minerals and nutrients will carry all the essential things which are required for different parts of a plant to grow very well. So let us see this activity about absorption of water which takes place in a plant with the help of roots and also with the help of stem. So for this activity you have to take a glass in which water is present and to that water add little ink, preferably red ink. Then put the plant, and after few hours we have to observe. After 2 to 3 hours record the observation. So why do you think we added red ink in one tumbler? So that with clarity we can recognize where the red water is flowing in the stem, leaf or flower. Then second question in the textbook is, did you see any red spots in the stem or other parts of any of the plants? Yes, after few hours or sometimes in some plants it may take some days also. We can notice red color spots. In your higher classes, you have to take a thin transverse section of this particular stem and observe it under the microscope. There you can see that the xylem vessels and phloem vessels, two types of vessels are present. Only the xylem will carry the water from the roots to all the parts of the plant. So xylem will be having this red structure which proves that only in the xylem the water is traveling from down to up, from the roots to the different parts of the plant. So only xylem will be stained red in color, that is at higher level. But here in 6th class, just you have to be aware that the why did red spots appear on the stem or flower. The appearance of red spots proves that water is traveling from down to up, from the roots or from the stem to up part. Specifically speaking, it travels through the xylem, which is one type of conducting vessels. So here, because of that only, the red color patches or red stained part can be seen in the leaves and stem. So from this activity, we can conclude that roots help in taking up of water from the soil, and they do this by the process of absorption. Then the minerals which are present in the soil are also absorbed along with the water. So it is said that soil should be rich in nutrients, that is, the manure should be properly available. Previously, only the organic manure, that is from the cow dung and various other decomposed plant materials and animal material, can be converted and it would be utilized by the plants if it is present in the nearby soil. And then along with the water it gets mixed up and it will be traveling around along the plant so that the plant is getting all the nutrients. But nowadays many of the farmers are using the chemical fertilizers. That is not good for our health. So that should be avoided. So whatever is present near the root hairs, along with water, it will be dissolved and it will be absorbed by the plant. Suppose good manure is present, then that will be absorbed. Suppose the chemical manure is present, chemical fertilizers are present, then that also will be absorbed. And that will be traveling into the plant body and different fruits or vegetables or grains. And the same thing will be consumed by different types of organisms. So, in the same book, we have one more activity, that is activity 8 in the same lesson, carrying food material. So, here with clarity, the same procedure has to be followed. But at last, as I said you, we have to take a transverse section, a thin transverse section. Transverse section means cutting the stem part in an horizontal way, a very thin slice, just like how we cut the cucumber and that all in that way. A thin slice, very very thin slice with a sharp blade has to be cut, and it should be kept on a slide, and a drop of glycerin should be used, and then it should be covered with the help of a cover slip and observed under the microscope. So wherever the xylem tissue is present, that area will be seen red in color. Some plants will have the transverse section with xylem as a round circle towards the outer periphery. Some will have like small patches. Some will have in the inner side round circular portion. So wherever is the xylem tissue, that will be colored red in color. So this colored ring or patches that we can see are the places where the water will be carried or food material will be carried from the soil to the plant. Then the water absorbed by the root is carried through the stem to all parts of the plant. Thank you. So same activity can be performed by using different types of different colored liquids or inks. Green, of course, will be green only in finally. Then red ink you can take, blue ink also can be taken. So a single leaf also can be taken. In that, add little water, and to that water add red ink and wait for few hours. And then down in the diagram on day 1, day 2 and day 3, what differences we can see. If you want for more clarity, one more sample leaf can be kept aside which doesn't have any colored liquid, and comparison can be made. So with this comparison, it will be clear how the actual leaf was green in color and the red colored ink has traveled into the veins, mid vein, veinlets. That can be clearly seen. For having more interesting activity, we can take white colored roses, and it can be kept in different colored liquid, and we have to wait for few hours. Then very clearly we can see that the white rose petals are changing the color. They are showing that color which is present in that particular beaker or glass. Red ink or red colored water will show white rose as slightly red in color. Whereas if we use green color in the water, then the white rose will appear slight greenish in color. In the same way, whatever flowers are available white colored, preferably like calendula or chrysanthemum, that can be used, and different colored liquids can be used, and we can have an interesting activity. So here you can see first flower is slightly bluish in color because of blue liquid. Second one is slightly pinkish or red in color because of red liquid. Third one is slightly purplish in color because of the purple liquid. Here also you can see the beautiful white flowers because of different colored liquids they are showing the different colors. So even white jasmine or white color any flower can also be taken and we can practically do this interesting colorful activity.